when you're out on a date, a girl wants to figure out the type of guy you are, like your character, the way you tell a story, your personality, all those things. And such a crazy statement is most guys have no personality. And if they even do, they have no idea how to express it. They're not comfortable. And it's because they're so in their head about trying to focus on what's the right thing to do, like test-taking mode, that they can't just be themselves. That's where the word authenticity comes around. When you're so focused on trying to say the right thing, you're not being authentic. You're not being a human being. It's impossible to anyone feel connected to you when you're focused on trying to say the right thing. And it's very, very distasteful in a dating environment. Here's a law of human nature. You can only connect with someone as deeply as you are connected with yourself. And I think most adult men have neglected for years to ask themselves, like, look in the mirror, who am I? What am I? Who am I? What do I love about life? What gets me excited? I think most guys are just in this autopilot cycle of like, go to work, come home, eat, go to the gym, watch my show, and try to have a good time on the weekends. When you take time for no self-reflection, that will directly show up on your date about why can't I connect with this girl. When you don't have any layers to yourself, you're not going to be able to peel back layers of the girl in front of you. I think there's beauty and peace in first recognizing, oh, that's why my dates haven't gone well. I haven't taken the time to get to know myself, so no wonder I'm trash at getting to know other people. And if that is the case, you likely ask them questions like it's a job interview. What do you do? Do you like it? Where you from? Oh, okay. Like this, that. It's like a ping pong ball going back and forth of conversation. When instead, for example, you find out the girl is from Manchester. You don't have it in you to sit with a thought for a second because it's discomforting to be silent. Silence is necessary for good conversation. Anyway, you find out she's from Manchester. Wow, I've been to England before, but I've never been to that part of town. I'm wondering, Manchester, it's known for its football club. Was it chaotic? Was it crazy growing up there? Like, what was Manchester like? You see, I'm just sharing my own thoughts. I'm just being curious because I met a person who's from Manchester and I've never met someone from there before. I'm not trying to seduce this girl. I'm not trying to get her to like me. I'm just saying, Manchester, wow. You're the first person I've ever met from Manchester. And you see how my words here, they feel authentic. All I'm doing is just sharing my thoughts. But if I was trapped in my head trying to say the right thing, instead my default might be, wow, Manchester, cool, or whoa, England, all right. What the hell is that? Where'd the accent come from? And as far as guys having a personality, a lot of times the thought does arise. I want to say this, I want to say that, or this comes to mind, and you don't say it. You hold it back because you're afraid it might not be received well. You're afraid that this girl might not like what you have to say. But exactly what you're afraid of, that's where the authenticity lies. That's where the magic of this girl feeling who you are and knowing what your vibe is. That's where that lies. Your aura, your personality, it's all the same thing. And rule number 2, as far as her feeling deeply connected to you, when you are in a state of overthinking, you are not present. I want to repeat that. When you are in a state of overthinking, the algorithm is going off on what's the right thing to say, you are not present in the conversation. It's very stressful for you, and it's a miserable experience for the girl, and quite frankly, a waste of her time. Another guy who was just trying to swindle me or try to make me like him, instead of just being a bro who's just happy to be here on the date, and he's just asking questions like, oh, well, that's interesting. I've never heard that before. Or, no way, you're one of those girls who do this, blah, 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 blah. He's just speaking freely. And how can some guys speak freely, but other dudes can't? It's a great question, and it's a very simple answer. They're comfortable in their own skin, and they know who they are. And loosely, they kind of just know where they're going in life. They don't have to be an entrepreneur. They don't have to make a ton of money. They just have to know, this is who I am, this is who I like, and this is the path I'm trying to take in life. Most guys don't have the answer to these questions. And if you did, how you show up to dates, how you show up to normal conversation, meeting people, you'd be so much more comfortable in your own skin. I want to go back to these 3 questions. Who am I? Do I trust myself? Do I like myself? Do I know where I'm going in life? This is all knowledge of the self. If knowledge is power, then knowledge of the self is self-empowerment. You can achieve self-empowerment and evolve who you are just by getting clear on those questions. Who am I? Do I like myself? Do I trust myself? And do I know where I'm going? And let's get into those questions real quick. Do I like myself? Do I trust myself? Likely the answer is no. To some degree, you don't like yourself. That's a brilliant thing to uncover, because then you get to say, all right, well, what would make me like myself? What am I pushing off in life? Because chances are, figuring out what you're pushing off in life and just starting to do those things, liking yourself is on the other side of that. And being excited and having a lust for life and having like youthful, energetic, magnetic energy, simply figuring out what would make me like myself and doing those things is how you create that. And then the question, how do I trust myself? Trust comes from dabbling in uncertainty. I'm going out to this food festival alone. I've never gone out before. I'm a little nervous. Let's see how it goes. As long as you go there and don't die, you build some trust in yourself. If you talk to some people, that's just a bonus. When I was 21 years old and started going to networking events for the first time, it was really just something to do. But the first networking event I went to when I was 21, it was a panel of 5 people talking. I went in, and 5 minutes before it started, everyone's just talking to themselves. I was so anxious. I went to the bathroom for 5 minutes until it started so I could just go take a seat and not have to talk to anyone. I watched the panel for an hour long, and as soon as it was over, I got up and walked right out of that door. One might look at that situation as a failure. You didn't talk to anybody. You didn't make any connections. But no, a beautiful thing happened that day. I proved to myself that I can show up somewhere on my own and survive. I proved I could handle uncertainty. So you know what happened? I did it again next week. I live in New York City where there's always panels of people talking. So I went to one, and you know what I did? I said hi to 2 people. I said, hi, how's it going? What made you sign up for this event? Maybe 3 sentences back and forth. All right, well, nice to meet you. That is all I did. I then attended the 1-hour panel and went home. One might look at that as a failure. You didn't make any connections, waste of time. No. Another beautiful moment. I proved now I can open my mouth to strangers, say a hello and say a nice to meet you, and survive and be totally okay. Another vote in the direction of I can cope with uncertainty. That built a hell of a lot of trust in myself. The following week, I went to another panel event, my 3rd one. And guess what? This time, I spoke to 4 people. And one of the conversations lasted about 6 minutes. Boom! New belief about myself was built simply from continuing to show up and prove it's okay if I have uncertainty about a situation. I've been here before. I've done this thing before. And I know it's going to be all right. The same exact concept showed up with dates. When I finally had the balls to ask girls out on dates and go for it, a new problem arose. The anxiety of when I was going to pick them up. What the hell am I going to say? I'd be so nervous. Ahead of the date, I would think about 5, 6, 7 stories to tell this girl. And the second they got in my car, I would just start talking and talking and talking because I was so uncomfortable with silence. Did I give the girl the best date possible? No. But I gave her on all right time. And at the end of the date, I went home. I didn't kiss the girl on the date, but I went home and said, wow, I just went out with an attractive girl and survived. And she didn't hate me. She didn't spit in me. She didn't call me weird. That's another vote in the direction of I can cope with uncertainty. I can do this. I like myself. I trust myself. Every day is an opportunity to build on the mountain of how much you like yourself and trust yourself. And those things can only be grown by action, by doing things that will make you like yourself. I am talking about such small and simple concepts here, and let me tell you, these catapulted my life. When I was 21 years old, the idea of going somewhere by myself scared the living shit out of me. Since then, I show up to places alone all the time. I have no problem going out to eat, going to a bar, sitting at a bar and striking up a conversation with a stranger. I'm comfortable with the uncertainty of that. And since then, I've traveled to foreign cities by myself. I've traveled to foreign cities where they don't speak my language, and I've been fine. I also was able to move across the country to a brand new city where I don't know anybody, but it didn't start that way. It started with being able to just go outside my house without my friends or family and not die. These small moments, building brick by brick, they matter. They matter, and it keeps going back to this, but you like yourself more and trust yourself more. When you fuel those two, when you fuel those two things and water them and grow them, it is so infinite, your potential in life and the opportunities that can come your way, because you are out there being active in life instead of harboring yourself in your little shell. And when you start to push that wheel, you start to have a few more conversations. You start to meet people and they think you're funny. Or these new people, they think you're pretty smart. And whoa, I didn't know I was funny. I didn't know I was smart. This is such new territory for me. It would never happen if you didn't get out of the house on your own and go explore. Why did I go to these panels that I'm referring to? I looked online and I said, oh, it's a really smart, successful person talking. I think that'd be a cool way to spend 60 minutes. It wasn't that serious. I just showed up. I think I paid $10. And that played a huge role in the journey of where I'm at now. Just coping with uncertainty. And the longer you harbor yourself and put yourself in a shell, the harder it is to get out. So I urge you, make a plan for tomorrow. What's one thing you could do that intimidates you just a tiny bit? What would that be? Striking up a conversation with the person who's making your sandwich at the deli? Or maybe going to eat at a pizzeria all on your own? Going to the park with a book all on your own? Talking to a random stranger and saying, you know what? You are dressed so beautifully. I love your outfit. This is all just expressing yourself through action or through speaking. All of these things will make you trust yourself and like yourself more. And now going back to dating advice, showing up on a date, the more in your day-to-day life that you are doing actions that make you trust yourself and like yourself, the girl is going to be able to feel that. She is going to say, okay, I am in good hands with this guy. I like this guy. I'm getting to know this guy. This guy's a little weird. He's a little nerdy about this. He's a little weird about that, but it's funny. I like it. And let me tell you, it's one of the most amazing feelings in the world when you're genuinely just being you, and a great, beautiful soul across the table, she digs it. She likes it. She thinks it's pretty cool. She thinks you're a dope guy. Like, it's so awesome when you get to experience that for the first time. And the validation of that does wonders. And I think every man owes it to themselves to start learning how to express themselves on a date. Even, you might piss the girl off. She might say, what? If you're able to laugh it off versus get all upset because you said the wrong thing, you are in a beautiful position, my brother. But if you are in this state of overthinking and, oh no, I may have said the wrong thing, it's not a great sign. And I think you should take action immediately and just know a few steps in the right direction, and you are clear of that. Reminding yourself why I trust myself and why I like myself, whether it's having conversations with yourself, constantly doing things every week for yourself, any form of self-love, journaling, and just writing about what you do on a day-to-day basis. All of those are forms of self-love, and self-love leads to you liking yourself and trusting yourself more. That's the rant for today, brother. Peace.